Hello, I am here to present to you about the culture industry in Philippine movies. Let me begin with topic 1. It's more or less the summary of culture industry. A book entitled Dialectic of Enlightenment has a part wherein Theodore Adorno and Max Horkheimer discuss and elaborated on the notion of culture industry. When you say culture industry, it specifies the uniformity and false individuality of cultural items, and how these cultural items are being regulated. It states that people are homogeneous because enterprises produce standard products that meet their needs and demands. Therefore, enterprises produce their needs and desire. This turns people into passive and subordinated subjects, making them unable to fully take critical responsibility for their own action, a thing which is crucial for a functioning democracy. According to Adorno and Horkheimer, these cultural products are not only meant for revenue, like appealing to the lowest common denominator, but also generate consumers that mostly are adapted to the needs of the capitalist system. They describe how popular culture in the capitalist society functions as an industry in producing standardized products that bring to existence standardized people. Overall, they use the term culture industry to describe the commodification of cultural forms that had resulted from the growth of monopoly capitalism. The 1960s opened with some strong productions. Unfortunately, the major studios crashed and burned, primarily due to the labor issues. Independents replaced the old studios and contract players started to go on their own. A multitude of small studios now populated Philippine cinema, many producing bomba or erotic films. These were inspired by bomba comics, adult-oriented comics featuring nudity and sex, whose popularity peaked in the years of 1967 to 1972. This first generation of bomba actors tended to possess mestiza, or mixed race, features such as fair skin and a sharp nose. Bomb comics were suppressed when President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law in 1972. Bomba movies disappeared and were replaced by softer, bold films, frequently produced as art films with financial assistance from the government. Movies often featured the wet look of females bathing or swimming in flimsy suits. Bomba movies returned when martial law was lifted in 1981. By this time, the players tended more towards brown skin, straight hair, and a slender face. Overall, about two-thirds of films produced in the Philippines between 1978 and 1982 were action films, with dramas accounting for just less than one-third. I will converse about the contemporary films in the Philippines, and I will also be citing some example films that has been formulated to be mass-produced and has predictable plots. So what is contemporary film? By definition, contemporary film are film that is produced today by the artists who are living in the 21st century. Contemporary art in general gives us the opportunity to reflect on our society and issues relevant to ourselves and the world around us. It reflects the complex issues that shape our diverse, global, and rapidly changing world. Through their work, many contemporary artists explore personal or cultural identity, offer critiques of social and institutional structures, or even attempt to redefine art itself. In the process, they often raise difficult or thought-provoking questions without providing easy answers. Curiosity, An open mind and a commitment to dialogue and debate are the best tools with which to approach a work of contemporary art. Let's proceed to its characteristics. It focuses on current events and social events. It is often has historical themes. It can be fiction and non-fiction. It also has a universal theme. Some are transferring literature to film. Let's proceed on presenting some films that I have encountered recently. The second movie that I am about to review is entitled John Denver Trending. The movie is about a 14-year-old farm boy's life who is suddenly upended when a video of him brutally attacking a classmate went viral. Usual to Filipino movies, John Denver Trending tackles current issues in our society, including fake news, social class discrimination, and cyberbullying. John Denver was a victim of cyberbullying after a video circulated in the internet of him being a bully. Viral videos are predominant in the social media age, which presents mostly alternative facts. Being poor makes John Denver really guilty of stealing a friend's iPad. Fake news was presented after a viral story of a woman who is accused of being a witch and killed one of her neighbors that ruined her life. This reflects the spread of fake news in our society today. Rural places and superstition is a usual combination in Filipino films, with the setting in the province. John Denver Trending was set in Pandan Antique, and the drone shots of vast fields evokes the sense of being in rural province. Rituals performed to drive away aswangs was also included in the film, to enhance the flavor of rurality. The last movie that I am going to discuss is entitled By Bust. The movie is about a special agent named Nina Manigan must fight her way through a fierce night when her colleagues were stranded in a maze-like part of Manila slum and got caught up on a war with furious civilians and a brutal cartel. Common to Filipino films is that it tackles social issues like in Baybas. Baybas is known to tackle the war on drugs of the current President Rodrigo Duterte. Stereotyping the slums as a crime hotspot is usual to Filipino films. The film is set in Tondo, Manila. Mostly in films, it depicts to be a crime area. Dark texture of the movie is somehow a reminiscence of 80s and 90s action films. The never-ending protagonist wins in the end plot. In the end, Agent Manigan survived and killed all the bad guys. That's always the case. The protagonist won as always. While watching a Filipino movie, you may encounter scenes that are strikingly similar to others you've seen before. Here are some of the things that I've noticed. Latecomers. When the contrabida or bad guys in the movie decide to wreak havoc, it's always up to the bida or good guys to solve the problem. The police shows up only when the conflict is resolved. Otherwise, there will be no time for the lead stars to shine. Abroad is equal to being liberated. The other man or woman in the story hails from abroad, which explains why she or he is liberated. Gaganti ako. In action movies, there is a scene where the bida grieves over the body of his loved one, and in that moment, you know that he vows to exact revenge upon his enemies. Just add water. When there is a dramatic scene, there is a need for rain to suddenly appear to amp up the emotional intensity of the moment. The protagonist never dies plot. Starting from the 60s, the golden rule in any Philippine films and teleserye is do not kill the protagonist, and only a few shows have broken that rule. Now that I've discussed everything, we are now have arrived to the last topic, which is the conclusion. This is a key characteristic of the culture industry. The products are all the same, hence easy to digest. With no critical thinking required, people are trained in conformity. Like any other commodity, the production of cultural products follows the production line mentality. This explains why many films and television programs are similar and follow recycled storylines. I'm Denise Carandang. Thanks for watching.